It's the Will and Woody podcast.
Right now, Woods, we are doing the Pain in the Business Awards. We're awarding the arsiest people in your office, and it is Christmas party season. I'll tell you what the category is in a second. If you missed it yesterday, it was a Rookie of the Year, was it, Joel?
Yeah.
By James.
Rookie of the Year, a guy called James called up with a guy who was having his first year working at a country real estate firm. That's what happened.
My mate Johnny, I gave him the trust of locking up. I go home, an hour later, I get a ring. Hey mate, I've locked all the doors, but I don't know how to get out. He locked himself inside of the offices. Are you kidding me?
Locked himself inside. So today, now look, I'm aware of the fact that Christmas parties are largely kicking off tonight and tomorrow night, so
Sure.
I will take retrospective nominations. So if there's been a Christmas party from previous years, please feel free to call up. But we are doing today 13165 for a $200 Domino's voucher. Christmas party clangers.
Live from the radio in your car. It's the first annual Pain in the Business Awards with your exquisite hosts, Will and Woody.
Pretty easy here. So 13165, if you know of someone that's had a Christmas party clanger, give us a call, 13165, a $200 Domino's voucher, Woods, for the best Christmas party clanger for our Pain in the Business Awards.
I'll kick things off here. A good friend of ours used to work with him. Not sure where he works anymore, but his name's Speedy. And he was someone who didn't really wear shirts. Wasn't a big shirt guy. But he chose to wear a shirt for the Christmas party. It was like,
When you say shirt, like it wasn't he was going around topless, you mean like a button-up shirt?
A button-up shirt,
His
like a long sleeve.
He would normally wear a T-shirt.
Yes,
Yeah.
big T-shirt guy. Anyway, Speedy thought,
yeah.
I'll wear a
This
a
guy's
collared
still in radio,
shirt.
by the
Is
way.
he?
Yeah, he is.
So he decides to wear a collared shirt to the Christmas party. Anyway, before the Christmas party, he's obviously a bit nervous, goes to the loo and goes and does a number two. He'd never been to the bathroom with a collared shirt on with long sleeves before.
Know that.
No, clearly he hadn't.
I feel like there's a bit of mayo there.
Well, clearly
He'd
he
never
hadn't.
actually shat with a shirt on before. It just sounds like
Clearly-
you have heaped so much mayo on that. It's hard to
Clearly he
navigate.
hadn't, and I don't want to get too crass here, but
yeah.
effectively when he went to go and wipe his bum, he didn't pull the bottom of the sleeve up. And he got a bit of connection with the sleeve on the wipe. And he had to go home
Belgian dip.
with a soiled shirt.
You love that story. So
He just left in a sweat.
you spotted
He
it. You
was
spotted it. You
with
spotted
a wet shirt. He's so saturated wet. What happened in there? Don't even talk to me. Got out of there quicker than you can say.
All right.
There's poop on
He's
your
still
sleeve.
in radio. Speedy, if you're listening, how are you, mate?
Yeah.
Woods, you also had a bit of a Christmas party clanger
No, I
one
didn't.
year with an engaged woman.
Oh, now this has been blown out of proportion completely. It's completely. It's just incorrect. It's a falsehood. It's a fallacy, and I'm not going to bloody stand for it.
You hooked up with someone who was engaged.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
You did.
I didn't.
though. But you did.
I did not.
Okay.
We shared a close dance, and everyone.
No,
and she was on break.
Oh,
she
here we go. Sorry, Ross from Friends. Sorry, Ross Geller.
She was, and I don't think she wasn't engaged. Months later, she then got engaged. And then everyone started going, oh, weren't you close dancing? I was like, we were just all having a good time.
No one accused you of close dancing. Everyone was like, didn't you kiss? Not
we
didn't you
didn't.
close
Well, we
dance?
didn't.
All
We
right,
didn't.
mate. All right. 131065.
Why can't we go out on the poo story?
You knew I was sitting on that. It is Christmas party season, whether you're off to one now. A lot of people got them tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Just be careful who you close dance with because could turn into anything. Who knows?
Not engaging.
We're doing Christmas party clangers for the Pain in the Business Awards.
Live from the radio in your car. It's the first annual Pain in the Business Awards with your exquisite hosts, Will and Woody.
Now, what's the way this works, right? So we get people to give us a call, 131065. You just got to nominate someone.
Yep.
And every day has been a different category this week. Today is the Christmas party clanger. Okay, so a $200 Domino's voucher
Yep.
for the person with the best Christmas party clanger. And Christmas parties are notorious for clangers. I mean, they really are. We had our EP Ed had to send out the official company letter today. No close dancing with, other employees. No kissing engaged people. And no wiping shit on your shirt.
Let's go to Sally. You're like a dog with a bone. Sally, what did you do? You've had a Christmas party clanger?
I sure did. I walked into the start of our party and I knocked over the entire drinks table before the party even began.
Oh, Sal. Your bloody turkey, your Christmas turkey.
Sally. And everyone thinks you're drunk there as well. Like, even if you weren't drunk, Sally, I don't mean to be tarnishing your name on radio, but when you knock over a whole drinks table...
You nearly knocked over your water bottle as you said that.
I did. Anyway, let's go to Destiny.
Are you drunk?
No, I'm not. But you know when you do have a stack or you knock over drinks, everyone's like, taxi.
Yeah,
It's not
absolutely.
fair when you're having that a drink.
All right, mate,
Your
let's
mind
go to
just
Destiny.
becomes-
I don't know what point you were making there, but you made it about 5 times. Destiny on 131065. How you doing?
Yeah, good,
Destiny,
thanks.
before we get into your Christmas party clanger story, if somebody's close dancing with another employee and there's whispers that they've probably made out in an office underneath the dance floor, would you assume they had?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you would.
definitely
Well,
would.
Yeah,
shame on you for making rank assumptions, Destiny. Anyway, stick to the facts.
Who close dances with a fellow employee at a Christmas party anyway, mate? It's like they were playing Lady in Red for you.
No,
it wasn't the dance scene
I'll
from
close
the James.
dance with you. I'd close dance with our button pusher Joel.
Were you waltzing?
I can't remember, mate. It was like
You're
20
close
years ago.
dancing with an employee.
It was a long time ago.
Rightio.
Anyway, let's go to Destiny.
We're talking Christmas party clangers, Destiny. What you got?
My one's a fight with a colleague and it ended up 30 minutes in. The whole restaurant told us to get out and I'm not invited to this year's Christmas party.
Wow.
How intense was the fight?
It just kind of escalated and it was so unexpected because he's a pastor and so we were all so close.
He's a pastor.
He's a pastor himself,
Yeah.
is he? What is he? Oraketi? Fuzili?
You just
Doesn't matter, but it ended up
Bit of a pastor gag.
pastor
here
gag.
he is.
Oh, we have officially hit rock bottom.
Here he is.
We have officially
Jeez,
hit rock
the
bottom.
foodies out there.
Oh,
They're
my
lining up.
Lord. Let's go to Zoe.
What else? He was a priest. Pastor like a priest. Zoe on the 131065. We're talking Christmas party clangers. What have you got? Currently Woody in the lead with the close dance. What have you got?
I'm a school teacher. A couple of years ago, we went into the city for our Christmas party. It was a bit of a wild night. We hadn't really eaten much beforehand. And we'd gone to take our group photo.
Oh, yeah.
And just as the group photo was taken, this lady in the back row has vomited all over our assistant principal. And we didn't last much longer at the place. We got kicked out. It got just a bit too much.
Vomit on the
and
assistant
then,
principal.
Yeah, and then Monday morning we got a really good talking to at school. It wasn't good.
If you're going to
Yeah.
vomit on anyone, though, the assistant principal's the one to get.
They're usually an enforcer.
They were
aren't
always
they?
the drill
assistant.
sergeant.
Yeah,
the assistant
yeah.
principal was always the enforcer. Woody, I still think you're in the lead for making out with an employee. We had another caller there, but
those disappeared?
They've disappeared. Or can I go to Vicky? You're worried about her, aren't you? You're worried about it. What are you worried? Is she a bit naughty? Is she?
No, she's fine. I'm conscious of doing too many,
I'm not happy.
related stories.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
that's fair.
That's
No,
totally
that is
fair
fair
enough. Vicky's called on 131065.
Oh,
Vicky, Christmas party clanger.
Hello, how you going?
Very well, thanks, mate. Now, we're worried about doing too many alcohol-related stories.
You know what? I'll tell you what we'll do. Before we hear the story, I'll just say, honestly, drink responsibly. Nothing good comes from excessive drinking, and just do the right thing. Now, Vicky.
I think we've covered it.
Well, yes, I agree. But at our Christmas party, we had one of my friends. She did have a few drinks, but she had a fun night. She ended up in the boys' bathroom somehow, and she locked herself in one of the stalls and couldn't actually figure out how to open it.
Oh,
and
no.
somebody had to climb over. We had to get one of the guys to climb over and unlock it and get her out.
Oh, gee
Bloody
whiz.
hell.
Shocking Christmas party. Woods, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to take home the Christmas party clanger.
I'll take the voucher.
You made out with an employee
I did- no,
8 years ago.
You make it. It was a very long time
Congratulations.
ago.
You got a $200 Domino's voucher. You
weren't
can't eat
engaged.
it because you've got irritable bowel syndrome. Give you a pizza extra cheesy love with Domino's cheese toasty. That's for you,
They
mate.
weren't engaged.
for the close talking kiss that happened all those years ago.
Someone spewed on an assistant principal. Oh.
Yeah, we don't want to promote drinking on this show. We will promote adultery, though, obviously.
It's the Will and Woody podcast.
Woodrow, Meghan and Harry, also known as Mary. No, what are they known as?
Megxit. No,
that was
their exit.
Yeah. Have they got a moniker?
Hagen.
I don't think it's Hagen.
That
Sounds like
it is now.
Type of Scottish bread. Anyway, that's our haggis. That's Scottish meatloaf, isn't it?
That's pig bladder.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful, beautiful little treat.
Yeah, so Meghan and Harry, or Hagen, signed an £18 million sterling Spotify podcast deal.
Bloody hell.
With some guys called Archwell Audio. And in Australian dollars, it's $33 million deal.
Gee.
Now, so $33 million deal. Before I tell you how many podcasts they've released, I'm just going to find out. How many podcasts do you think we've put out in 2021?
Oh, probably 3 a day for 40 weeks.
Okay, so 3 a day for 40 weeks.
1,200?
No, it's definitely more
Bad
than that.
maths?
21. Anyway, carry the 2.
Yeah, it's about 1,200. It's between 1,200 and 1,300.
All right.
My maths is tight.
Bang.
My maths is sound. Don't know how that's happened.
3 a day for 40 weeks. You actually nailed that.
Yeah, I did.
But then you have. I don't think
There's
you
a bit
have.
more. I said there's more than 1,200.
It's 600.
Yeah, I was going to say no. I think it's actually
No, it's not.
6,000.
No,
I think
stop.
it's
No, everyone stop. Everyone stop. 40 weeks.
40 weeks.
We release 3 a day.
Yes.
Now, don't you bloody elevate me.
So you have to do. First of all, you have to do 5 times 4, which is because that's how many days in a week. And I think you missed that step.
Yeah, I might have missed that.
Yeah. And then you times it by, exactly.
6,000.
All right, carry on.
6,000.
600 podcasts this year. Okay, so we did 600 podcasts for, let's say, our salaries, okay? We don't get paid extra to do a podcast, right? That's just the bits they take from the show.
Yeah.
Harry and Meghan, for $33 million in 2021, have released 0 podcasts. For $33 million.
Did Spotify just cook the contract?
They just haven't released anything yet.
But how could you receive?
They're sitting on their idea. They're still in the brainstorm.
How could you receive $33 million though, and then not release one? Like the contract would have said that you have to release a minimum of.
You'd think so. Other than that, they've got the best agent in the world who's just gone. I'll tell you what. For the first year, we don't do anything, but we'll take the cash. 2022, we'll think about doing something, and then maybe 2023, you'll get yourself a podcast.
That is an extraordinary deal.
Isn't that amazing?
What?
So $33 million, that was the big deal. They haven't released anything, which is a real shame because, I mean,
the suspense.
Yeah, they're building the suspense.
we're talking
maybe the
about
first
it.
year of the contract was $30 million, we released nothing, but geez, the anticipation peaks.
And then some radio knobs will be talking about the fact that you've released nothing.
And then all of a sudden, when it comes out, there's a bit of pressure on the idea though. Because I mean, I mean, look, don't get me wrong, they have had some absolute gems recently. I mean, when they were on Oprah, and I mean, this is obviously how they got the deal. They heard them on Oprah, and they were like, wow, that could make some great podcasting stuff.
We put on our wellies to feed the hens Meghan and Harry recently rescued from a factory farm.
But I just love rescuing.
Yeah, good on you. So, that's damning audio. I'm sorry about that. Sometimes we chop things to make people look worse than they are. But the point is, I think they're short of an idea, Woods.
Yeah.
They're short of an idea.
What to do their podcast about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apart from rescuing things, which will be obviously podcast one.
Sure.
I think, because you're an ideas guy.
Thank you. I am. I won't deny that.
You idiot. We're going to go to a song.
What?
And on the other side, given that you are an ideas guy and you don't deny it.
Yeah, can't turn this thing off. My brain, that is.
I'd like you to come up with 5 ideas for Harry and Meghan's podcast.
So ideas for like a podcast series, like a theme.
Yes,
for
a theme.
Right. That they have to. Yeah,
yes.
okay, I can do that. Bloody oath, I can do that.
If anyone wants to join Woods, 131065.
5.
You've got 3 minutes to come up with 5 podcast ideas for Harry and Meghan.
Yep, done. Easy.
Done?
Yeah. Yeah, well, not done yet, but they'll come. They'll come to me. Come on. None are coming.
Okay. We are talking about the $33 million Spotify deal which Meghan and Harry signed for 2021. Mm-hmm. And I think Archwell Audio, who paid them that exorbitant sum, will be really chuffed with the fact that they haven't released a single podcast this year.
Just going to jump in there. Archwell Audio is them. Spotify paid them.
Archwell Audio is Meghan and Harry.
Big twist. Big twist in the story. They are Archwell Audio, which I think is something to do with their kid. It's called Archie. Their son's called Archie.
Blown.
I don't know what well means.
Archwell Audio is Meghan and Harry.
Yeah, they are Archwell Audio.
Wow.
They've released 0 podcasts and
Yes.
they've been paid $33 million by Spotify to release nothing.
Jeez, that's yeah.
God, doesn't that show how much money Spotify have got?
It does. It does.
I mean, they're morons as well. iHeartRadio, that's the place to be, can I just say? If you want audio entertainment, bloody hell, it's the best in the biz. But go on, Will. I hate Spotify. I hate it.
All right, so
all the glitches and whatnot.
So I'll come to you, Woods, because I think they're obviously running out of ideas.
Yeah.
They haven't got any ideas for their podcast, and you're an ideas guy.
I am.
You're an ideas guy.
Yeah. Look, I throw up some stinkers. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, they just come out of me. I can't tell you if they're good or bad, but they come out of me.
Yeah, it's just like a tap.
Yep.
Now I want to turn that tap on.
Caution.
If I can.
Yeah.
So I've given you one song to come up with 5 ideas for Meghan and Harry's Spotify account.
Yeah.
So these are like overarching themes. So, you know, like a big podcast, Revisionist History, for example. Malcolm Gladwell, my favourite podcast, goes back, through time, finds things that are unseen and misunderstood. God. Right, so that's an example of a theme.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
So
Hardcore
funny what
history.
you're into.
Dan Carlin.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean,
we all get it.
Okay.
We all get it.
You need to come up with a theme.
Yeah.
A name as well with the theme would be good.
Easy.
All right. Do you want some music or something?
Yeah. Give me some music. Now, full disclosure.
Yeah.
Look, I reckon my first few are pretty good, then it drops off a cliff. Okay, here we go. First one. Now, I actually think this is a winner.
Yeah.
It's called Rinse the Prince. And effectively,
good name, strong name.
It's just Harry prank calling Prince William every week. Rinse the Prince. It's just it's a 40-second podcast.
And it's just prank calls.
Yeah, it's just a prank call.
Yeah, it's good.
It's Harry being different characters torching Prince William.
I think you'd pick him though.
Okay, get Meghan involved. She's an actress.
Yeah, that's true.
Megan could call up and do it. Rinse the Prince. That's a good one.
Nice one.
Okay, this is where it starts to drop off, if I'm
thought
being
you said
honest.
it dropped off after 3.
No, after 1. No, this one's all right. Kidnapping a corgi. So, get this. It's like one of those interactive podcasts where they do the plan over podcast.
Yeah.
And they actually execute the plan and try and steal the Queen's corgis.
Right.
Kidnapping a corgi.
Right. I don't think they're going to do that.
No, fair enough. Okay, next one. Strip snooker.
Okay.
So
they really did fall off a cliff.
We all know.
They?
No, we all know though that Harry's famous
it's an
for playing.
medium though. Like, how are you going to illustrate that?
He got nude. Well, they do a digital thing as well. They release Instagram lives or whatever. But effectively, he got famous in Las Vegas for having a nude game of snooker.
He did. Yep.
They invite famous guests.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt.
Well, and you just get your kid off.
You rock up to their house and you've got to play strip snooker against Harry and Meghan. Not bad. Not bad. I think I've got your back. All right, next one. Markle's Bait and Tackle.
It's the Will and Woody podcast.
We have got the one and only Nazim Hussain, who
Hello.
joins the boys.
Yes.
Boys, how's it going? So good to hear your voices.
Oh, we are so good. Always a treat to hear your voice, Nazim. And I'm so into you, Nazim, that I actually was... thank you. It's nice to have a mutual into each other going on. But I'm going to prove that I'm more into you because I was just on your website and I was going to buy tickets to come and see you. But you're doing this thing at the moment in Melbourne, if people are in Melbourne, trial shows.
Trial shows for the comedy festival, right? What do you think, mate? You think comedians just get up on stage and just have the jokes ready to go the first time around? No. You got to work out the recipe. You got to cook behind the scenes in front of an audience of people that pay virtually nothing. You try things that you think are funny, but there's no laughter. But then you have to remind the audience of the ticket price, and you're like, you know how you basically paid nothing? Well, then you have no right to expect any level of quality, okay? But so now if you go to comedy clubs around Australia, you're going to see comedians gearing up for next year's comedy festival tours. So they're trying new jokes. Man, comedy, we've gone from lockdown doing Zoom gigs, laughing at people's muted faces, to now real, like yesterday,
being out and about.
2 shows. I did the trial show, and before that I performed at the protest, and,
you performed at a protest? You just slipped that in there so quickly.
No, I'm joking. Just want to get everybody on board to buy a ticket. No, but there's live shows and performances.
Just saw a
people
crowd.
coming together.
You were just like a moth to a flame. Here's a chance to do some gear.
Exactly. So who are we making jokes about? Dan Andrews? Yeah, sure, I'm on board. No, by the way, go to livenation.com.au, guys. You need take your vaccination certificate, but no, it's been fun.
Yeah, probably the wrong
feeling
people
like
to approach, given that none of them are vaxxed.
I know.
G'day, guys.
I've done an ad for the state government encouraging people to wear the masks and do the right thing.
So you would have got egged off the podium at a protest.
I would have just said no. I'm another brown guy. I'm not Nazim or Waleed who were in that ad. I'm Akbar, and I'm an anti-vaxxer. I mean, he's not. I don't want to misrepresent him.
I was going to say, what are you doing, mate?
Coming on here and defaming a very good guy.
On, have a huge crack at Akbar. Lucky you two are mates. We can just smell the lawsuit already. That's not something you throw around lightly about someone these days. That's a cancelable piece.
So this conversation's gone really well. I don't know why you don't have me on more.
I should stress, by the way, if you want to see Naz, livenation.com, he's actually got a live show, which isn't a trial show.
Yeah, all around Australia. Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide, I think Canberra.
Beautiful. Yeah, so all around Australia, just to confirm. So you can see Naz.
Stop naming places, Nazim.
Burwood, Melbourne.
Just a suburb of Melbourne and then the city Melbourne. All right.
Yeah.
You're going to get out of here, mate.
It's the Will and Woody podcast.
Let's just talk about the fact we had Matthew McConaughey on the show yesterday. And look, as I just said before the song, I think it got really interesting for me when we were asking him about how this reconnaissance came about, how his revolution in his career happened when he just started making the biggest movies in TV and Hollywood from being pretty much just a piece of eye candy.
Successful eye candy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being successful. He was making lots of money, but the point was he started turning down tens of millions of dollars to continue to be eye candy, took a bet on himself.
Yeah, to do like more serious movies, do dramas.
Yes, and he basically said it happened when he started having children. He had this clarity, and I brought up the fact at this point that my partner Sam's pregnant and we're having a baby next year, and this lit him up.
You got a child coming now?
I do, yeah, she's pregnant. Yeah.
First one?
First one. Yeah, first one.
Okay,
yeah.
The first 6 months after your newborn?
Yeah.
Don't just double down on your instincts. Triple down on your instincts.
Wow.
Everything. From investments to relationships to where you want to live and go and what you want to do in life. You'll never be more clear.
Pretty wild. Because I'd say that's the opposite to what a lot of people view having a child as.
100%.
They think that having a child will mean they have to compromise in their career or compromise in any other thing they want to do because the child takes so much time.
That's right. And I know, particularly growing up, I know that both my parents sacrificed enormously so that we could go to really good schools and have a great education. And I know, being totally candid, this is a conversation I've had with my partner all the time because it just keeps bubbling up for me, is I'm incredibly anxious about having a child because of the fact that it will limit my freedom in terms of what I do in my career. Because all I'm thinking about a lot of the time is I need to keep making money so that my kids can be safe and enjoy a good life. And as a result, any lateral thinking or any sense of exploration that I have in terms of what I want to do just goes out the window because it's just like, well, you can't think about that. You just need to nail the best job you possibly can to make as much money as you can. And that scares me.
Yeah, sure.
And so when Matthew McConaughey yesterday was just like, mate, that's the time when you don't just double down on your instinct, you triple down on your instinct. He was like, and it was amazing. He turned down. I mean, it's easy for him to say he probably banked a few checks before he made this decision.
He was comfortable when he was
in a good spot.
Doubling down and tripling down on his instincts.
Exactly right. He was in a good spot. But nevertheless, he still turned away, no matter what your circumstances are. He turned away the surefire career so that he could seek out what he wanted to do. And he said that having a child gave him the clarity, of what he wanted to do. Now, this is totally at odds with a traditional view that I have of what it's like or what you have to give up in order to be a parent. And I just really want to throw this out to everyone listening right now. So 131065 is the phone number. And I know this is obviously different for men as it is for women. So I know that. So I'm not going to try and pretend like whoever's raising the child has obviously got a lot more, particularly if you're breastfeeding, for example, you obviously have to take a pause on your career. But if we can just, obviously have that part of the conversation in mind here. But
that clarity might still be there though.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
To know what you want to do.
That's what I want to find out.
Yeah.
131065, is the birth of your kid the death of your career? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
And this is totally in line with a conversation I had with Josh Van Cuylenberg, who's Hugh Van Cuylenberg's brother, after I was on the Imperfects podcast. And he said to me exactly the same as Matthew McConaughey did. As soon as his son was born, he's never felt more motivated, more driven to do what he wanted to do, because he was inspired about the idea of making his child proud of him.
Yeah, and he has gone on to create an incredibly successful podcast in the Imperfects.
Yes, exactly right, which is totally at odds with he's a videographer. He was making like videos for surgeons and stuff.
Yeah. And he speaks on that podcast now as well. By the way, if you haven't heard the Imperfects podcast, definitely go and check it out.
So he's found a whole new voice doing that. 131065, I'd actually just love some advice from you guys right now. I'm going to be a dad next year. 131065, is the birth of your kid the death of your career? I'd actually really love to hear from you guys. I know this sounds like a bit of a loaded question, but I'm having a kid next year, Woods, my first baby with my partner Sam. I'm very excited, but I have this very well drilled down anxiety in me for some reason. Maybe it's the way with the world that I grew up in, but is the birth of your child the death of your career? That's certainly an anxiety I have. I feel like, as the breadwinner in my family, I feel like I'm just going to have to put my head down and just whatever job I've got, just secure it, lock it down, make as much money as I can to support my kids. I know it's a very old school way of looking at things. I can't get it out of my head until we spoke to Matthew McConaughey yesterday, who said that his McConaissance, the revolution, the renaissance of his whole career was because he had kids. And he was inspired to have a whole new life, which is totally at odds with every other way I've viewed parenting. So is the McMonaissance a possibility?
The first 6 months after your newborn,
don't
just double down on your instincts, triple down on your instincts. There's no time in life that a man's more masculine or more clear about what they want to do. McMonaissance.
So your last name is McMahon, so McMonaissance.
The McMonaissance. Let's go to Tara on 131065. Tara, you actually... Yeah, really well, thanks, mate. You agree with Matthew McConaughey?
I totally do.
Wow,
okay,
amazing.
I think, look, you give up, totally like you give up stuff, obviously, when you have a kid, but it opens you up to so much more. Like, you're never more, like, confident and sure of who you are. You know all your priorities because, like, they become so clear to you. And, like, and you're motivated, but, like, by something that you've never had before because it's like beyond yourself. So you're like, yes, I'm in it, like, boom, I'll go out and do that. Yes, I don't mind working that hard. Yes, can take that on. I reckon they're good. They're good. I'm with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, well, who wouldn't be? I mean,
well said.
Tara, that's amazing. Thanks for the call. Much appreciated.
You said this because you're doing something for more than yourself. Because sure, you've got a partner, and you say you do things for your partner, but at the end of the day, you're doing it for yourself. All of a sudden, the kid comes along. And there's that motivation. It's quite interesting. Let's go to Jesse here. Jesse.
And the motivation part of it is, like, for me, that was always like thinking about making money. But as I was saying, that I had that chat with Josh Van Cuylenberg after I did the Imperfects podcast, he said it's because you want to make your child proud of you. And you don't want to be doing something that you're not authentically attached to, because you don't want to be a bad representation of who you are and what the world can be. Rochelle, we had Matthew McConaughey on the show yesterday. Is the birth of your kid the death of your career? He seemed to think it was the start of his career. He thought it was the reason for his McConaissance. What do you think?
I absolutely agree. So after having my daughter, I was like going through standard postpartum stuff of like losing hair and blah, 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 blah. And ended up creating a hair oil and a beauty brand, none of which I was ever interested in prior to that, and didn't have any background in that whatsoever. But it was just this thing that just, I guess, happened after having my daughter, and now it's this amazing thing that we get to share. And and I just think, and like this successful business that absolutely would not have happened had I not had my child and then go through all that postpartum stuff. So
they're not just the inspiration for your career. They started your career because you started losing your hair because you had the baby.
Exactly.
Wow.
The obvious next question here, Rochelle, can Will have some of that oil?